Alright, before we get this episode started, after you watch this, please remember to subscribe, like, comment, and share. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video and my channel. A big thank you to you for that. Now, here's this week's episode. Well, here's a first for RO360's Outdoor Adventure episodes. Dragon boat racing. Well, you're probably asking yourself, just like I did, just what in the heck is dragon boat racing? Well, I've never heard of it before this weekend either. Now, a few weeks back, I got a phone call from a friend of ours, Chris Potke, who we've known since he was a little boy. Now, he was wondering if Sandy and I were going to be up at the lake cabin for this particular weekend. As he was coming up to the Minocqua Dragon Boat Festival, he'd like to stop in and visit. And he also said, hey, you know, if I could stay at the cabin, I'd even be willing to come up a day early to help out with any chores that may need to be done. So as long as Sandy and I were going to be up that weekend anyways, and heck, I can always use a hand at chores around the cabin, I guess we were about to get introduced to dragon boat racing. Chris arrived late Thursday night after work, and Friday found him helping me split and stack firewood for the fall season. While visiting and catching up about ourselves and families, Sandy and I began to learn about the new endeavor Chris took on in the last few months. Now, Sandy and I found out that it's a relatively unknown but semi-popular sport that takes place all over the country, and dragon boat club teams travel to compete in these festival competitions. Now, Chris belongs to a club from Racine, Wisconsin, which is in southeastern Wisconsin, called the Motley Crew. They practice a few times every week, and he said that after having major surgery to his shoulders, that this was the perfect way to strengthen and build and keep his shoulders in good shape. Plus, rowing in these boats also help out your legs and lower core. And besides the fun and camaraderie between teammates and other competitors, it's a great way to work out and help stay in shape. So, with a little bit of this background info, Sandy and I headed to Minocqua for the 9th annual Minocqua Dragon Boat Festival to see just what this unique sport was all about. 7 o'clock, thunderstorms coming. Now, our friend Chris had left early to meet up with his team members. And when Sandy and I got up, it was already raining. Now, Chris said that as long as it's just rain, the races will go on. Only thunder or lightning would delay the races. Well, you heard the thunder and saw the lightning in the background outside. So Sandy and I decided to hang out at the cabin a little longer until the weather improves. Finally, around 11 p.m., when the thunderstorms had passed through the area and the rain let up a little, Sandy and I decided now was the time to head north to Minocqua to the Dragon Boat Festival. Now, as we were driving north into Minocqua, I made the comment, I says, you know, I can see north of us here that the dark clouds are starting to break up a little bit. In fact, I could even see a couple of little blue patches of sky in the distance. And I thought, hey, this is going to be pretty good. So anyways, when we arrived at the park area, the beach area, I was amazed at how crowded it already was. And we ended up parking about, it was like 6 or 7 blocks away from the beach area where the festival was being held. So as we started walking those 6-7 blocks to get to the Torpy Park area, there was a light mist in the air starting. And by the time we got to the park area and the beach area, it was already a light drizzle. And I mentioned to Sandy, you know, I said that in the car driving over here about the weather maybe would start to clear up. I think I jinxed us, and the weather just started to deteriorate from then on. Hi everybody, Rapping Outdoors 360 here in Minocqua. We're here on August 16th, 17th?
One of those days, Saturday.
Whatever, we're retired, we don't know, it's a Saturday here for the dragon boat races. Chris Potke is up here, he's on one of the crews. In fact, the name of their team is the Motley Crew. It's been raining bad all morning, thunderstorms, so we waited to come out. And so as you can see, it's quite a popular sport, even with the bad weather, with the rain. Got a huge crowd down here. Now, here in the background, you can see the highlighted, sheltered pavilion area. Now, as we walked by coming down here, there wasn't a single table available, and it was standing room only to try to stay out of the inclement weather. Now, the pavilion area has food and drink vendors and offers an overview of the race course from the top of the hill. Also, behind the spectator viewing area at the beach are the canopy tents with various vendors selling merchandise. And behind those, in the area marked by this arrow, even though you can't see them, are the various team canopy tents. The various heats have already started. You saw a little bit as we got here as one of the races we're finishing. And we're trying to find Chris right now. Doesn't look like he's going out on this next one, but I'm going to zoom in, we're going to take a look. Boats are getting ready here. That's what they call the dragon boat. It's 20 people side by side paddling. So, but I do not see him. We're looking for him. So you can see how crowded the boat gets. These guys are waiting to load. There's another boat going out. It's starting to drizzle now. Another crew over here for the next heat. Okay, we got another heat going. Well, Sandy and I stood there in the rain and watched this heat of the 300-meter sprints. This heat was fun to watch as the team synchronized their paddling to the loud concurrent drum beats of all four boats. They leaned forward with every pull of their paddles, pulling 20 paddle-sized volumes of water in unison in an effort to propel their dragon boat to be the first across the finish line. With boats 3 and 4 out to an early lead, boat number 1 came roaring from the back with increasing efficiency of 20 paddlers pulling remarkably at the same pace. Close heat. Faster and faster displacing water, keeping up with the drumbeat, and managing to nose across the finish line, placing first in this heat. That was a close heat. I think this was the winning boat. Came on strong at the end. Coming into the dock. Other boats are starting to come in from that heat.
Yeah. Ask them for birthday lasagna.
Those are the winners. All right. They're out of their boats then, and then you get the next heat,
That's the marshalling area with the other crews ready for the next heat. Like I said, we're in a good spot. We got to see Chris sooner or later.
Now, my first thought while I watched this complex sequence of events by all of these 22 crew members in each boat was that dragon boat racing has its intricate structure and uniformity.
You can see how crowded the boat gets.
But it also has its peculiar, amusing entertainment diversions. Check out these costumes. Now, as the rain gradually continued to increase in intensity, Sandy and I watched the last 300-meter heat. But Chris's team, the Motley Crew, wasn't in that last heat either. So, we missed out on watching them race in their 300-meter heat. But we knew that his team was entered in the 2,000-meter marathon that would be coming up.
There's the third boat. Oh, way back there. That wasn't competitive like the last one.
Now, as the last 300-meter heat ended, we found out that there would be a break for about a half hour to 45 minutes before the featured 2K marathon heat would start. Plus, with the intensity of the rain picking up, it was actually blowing sideways at times, and the puddles were getting a little bit deeper out there. So we knew it was time to search out Chris and his team's pop-up canopy tent to try to get out of the weather. We finally found Chris and his team in their pop-up canopy tent out of the rain, way back in the last row of the team tents, under the arrow marker in this photo. It was then, after getting introduced to some of Chris's teammates, we found out that quite a few teams had already left due to the bad weather. Chris had said that about 10 to 12 teams packed up their canopy tents and headed home because of the weather this morning. Now, evidently, there are various levels to competition at these festival events. Now, there are club teams like the Motley Crew out of Racine, which Chris is a team member of, and they practice 2-3 times a week and travel to these different festivals to compete. And at these individual festivals, there are what they call community teams, which are sponsored by local businesses. So they're not into it as much as the club teams are, and they have their own level of competition, while the club teams compete against other club teams. With the crowd size as large as it is, even with this bad weather, it's hard to imagine what it would be like with 10 to 12 more teams here. I'm sure it would feel like a state fair crowd atmosphere for sure. Dragon boat racing seems to be the best well-kept secret until you show up at an event and see how really popular this unique sport has become. Hey, and by the way, Sandy and I were able to keep dry on the upper half of our body, only because these canopy tents have no side. And with the rain blowing in sideways, well, our lower half, our pants were soaking wet. But we headed out to join Chris and his team on the 2,000-meter marathon event.
All right, here's Chris's team, the Motley Crew. There he goes. They're on the 2K. I guess he said it's about 2.5, 3 laps. And it's raining a little harder, a little windier, but they're going to the staging area.
All right, we're here at the Minocqua Dragon Boat Festival. Chris's team is out of Racine,
And they're in the staging line right there. So it'll be a 2K race we're gonna watch in the rain.
You guys got the purple goal!
There we go. There's Chris starting to get into their boat. It's kind of unique the way they even get into the boat. Watch this. They all stand together and they start sitting in pairs from the rear to the front as they stage. There's Chris. Sorry about this. I got my hand over the lens, trying to keep the lens dry. And they're gonna do like supposedly maybe about 2.5 laps maybe around this around the lake here. It's a 2K length race. Okay, Chris is getting ready to get in. There's 20 people in the boat, 10 on each side, and then a coxswain, and they got the drum. They're beating the drum for the rhythm to roll.
Yeah, last night.
So hey, this is a first for Rapid Outdoors 360. Dragon boat racing. It's kind of fun watching the other races, and now we get to watch our buddy Chris, see what happens.
If you look closely on some of the video close-ups, you can see the rain really starting to come down again.
Timing is everything. Everybody paddling together in unison. So they're in boat number 3, the purple boat.
I love doing this race.
So how many boats you got in here? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a lot of boats in this race. 5? I'll find out once they pull out. 5 or 6 boats in the race. There's Chris, sunglasses on. Aptly named, the Motley Crew. There we go, they're getting ready. Paddles ready.
Both sides together.
They're conserving their energy. They're going to be the last boat out. He'll be, as they're racing, he's going to be on the outboard side. He won't be on this side as they race. There they go, paddling down to the start. Dig, dig, dig.
There were 6 teams in this 2,000-meter event, and they would all start out where the 300-meter sprint started from and row 2 laps around the entire course.
There's Chris's boat, they're getting ready.
Yeah, I made the right decision.
And they're off.
Now, all 6 boats started out in a single file, spaced by about 2 boat lengths apart for each boat. And the boats are about 48 feet long. So you had roughly 100 feet in between the boats as they started. Unfortunately, I was hoping to see a NASCAR style race as the boats battled. But it's slightly different here for dragon boat racing.
So they got individual timers, so they're actually racing against time. Not necessarily going to have a conglomeration of boats, although maybe some boats will catch up to the others. So they're off. Way to go. There's the first boat, second, and there's Chris's boat right here. There's Chris digging. Let's go, Chris.
So 2.5 up, Steve?
Usually it's 2.5. Depends on how they lay it out.
So the winner will be determined when all the times are compared at the end of the race. Now here, the Motley crew just completed their turn down by the original staging area and are headed up complete lap number 1.
Camera. Sorry about that. Here we go.
As the Motley crew is approaching the turn at the starting point, boat number 4 has closed the 2 boat spacing between them. And as both boats head into the turn, boat 4 makes a move to gain inside positioning on the turn to overtake the Motley crew in boat 3.
They got a challenge going. Number 4 boat's got the inside turn on them. Yeah. Cut inside, cut inside. Come on, guys, dig, 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 dig.
And here on the backstretch straightaway, boat number 4 starts to finally pull away and pass up the Motley crew.
Here come the first and second boat. Now it's all by time. They're timing the individual boats. So these are the first 2. And let's see where the Motley crew's at. See, you can see those first 2 boats opened up quite a gap on the rest of the pack. So number 4 boat is moving. There's number 3 boat. Come on, guys. Oh, they're neck and neck here. Let's go. 3 boats coming in here. Be a good finish here. Come on, let's go, let's go.
Go Pioneers!
In the last stretch, you could start to see a little fatigue set in for the Motley crew in boat 3, as boats 5 and 6 both made up the spacing that was in between the boats when they had started. The race was on to the finish between these 3 dragon boats.
Uh-oh, come on, come on, come on. Dig you guys, dig you guys. Oh, Wow, right there. Now we just wait on the times. It is, you can see on the screen, it's really starting to come down. We got a long walk back to the car.
After practicing hard in preparation for the Minocqua Dragon Boat Festival, some last-minute setbacks did occur for the motley crew. Some of the crew members had to take care of some issues back at home and couldn't make the trip up north. Plus, there were some last-minute crew changes before both the 300-meter sprint and the 2,000-meter marathon. Unfortunately, the motley crew did not place in the top leaders of the 2K race. However, in the 300-meter heat that they were in, all the boats finished almost in a dead heat. The three boats all finished with times of 1 minute 25 seconds, and it took a breakdown on the stopwatches to look at tenths of a second to determine first, second, and third. So, even being short-handed and using a modified crew, they were very competitive at this festival. Now, the festival's celebration did not stop with the high fives shared with all of the competing teams. Some of the motley crew members led the way with a celebratory swim, and they were followed by a few members of other teams.
Now overall, this was a very entertaining event to go and watch. And now that Sandy and I know about it, well, next year, if we're up north at the same time this event's scheduled again, we're going to be there to watch it. I just hope that the weather's a little bit better than what we experienced this time out. Now, from what I understand, these events take place from Florida up along the coast into the Midwest and out to the West Coast. So if you're ever around and you hear about a Dragon Boat Festival race, hey, try to get out and check it out. I think you'll enjoy this unique sport. Now, every once in a while, we take you out of the hunting and fishing comfort zone, and we try to introduce you to another approach of the unique outdoor lifestyle.
Now, be sure to join us on our next RO360 outdoor adventure video, as some of the RO360 crew is in Ontario, Canada, and we contact some large walleye and muskie in ways you'd never expect.
Fish on. What we got? A walleye. Holy crap. Look at this walleye, guys. Muskie fishing. You gotta love it. What a beautiful fish. Well, let's get him back in the water. 24 inches, guys. 24. I only got 10-pound test here.
Just keep fighting them. Keep playing them.
Look at that run.
Going for another run.
Here he comes. Good 36 inches.
Hey, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next RO360 outdoor adventure. Feel free to comment below, or if you don't want to comment in the public eye, we can also be reached at rappinoutdoors360@gmail.com. Now, if you know somebody you think might enjoy this video series, please feel free to go ahead and share this video or this link with your friend. And as always, whether you fish or hunt, remember, practice CCR. Catch, conserve, replenish. Make sure that that resource is available for future generations. See you next time, guys.